We are all addicted to going. As soon as we have a moment of real rest, we start to get withdrawal symptoms. We start craving going, and we seek it out. Our mind will not let us rest. But if we can break through the withdrawal, we become free. We don't have to stop going. We can still be very active, but the activity will no longer control us. This subtle shift, having the ability to rest, changes everything. We no longer go mindlessly. We no longer fill the silence manically. We are at peace, both going and resting. And this is the freedom we all must nurture and develop. Notice what happens when you have a moment of stillness, when you have a moment of nothing to fill the time. Most of us, if not all of us, immediately find something to do. We look and our brain goes into overdrive, just trying to find something to fill up that space. Call a friend, check our phones, make plans, go shopping, go drinking or eating, watch a show. And what do all these things do? They stop us only from observing our thoughts, from being with thoughts. Some people, but not many, can stare out a window in a car or in their house for more than 5 minutes. But most of us will need something, a pacifier, an adult human metaphorical pacifier. And while they pacify us, they do immense damage when it is the mindless escape from ourselves. We are disassociating ourselves from our true selves. And so naturally, we don't know who we are. We don't know what we truly want. We don't know why we have this subtle suffering that we're constantly trying to avoid. Why we can't sit with ourselves and to just be in this beautiful universe. Only when we master being instead of going can we actually enjoy going, because it is not a means to escape. It is a means to celebrate. It is a means to enjoy the richness of this life. Instead of that subconscious reinforcement of the thought and the idea that life is unbearable, that I cannot be alone with my thoughts, that boredom and stillness and peace are unbearable and worthy of escape. But when we discover that we are content, happy, and fulfilled with the nothingness, then everything becomes peaceful. Because it's okay when the fun stuff stops. It's okay when it gets going. It's okay when sickness or trauma happens. Because we know we'll be okay. We know that we're okay no matter what. And just because we live in a society where that human adult pacifier takes many forms and is so easy to always be soothed, it is keeping us like babies and always needing something instead of standing on our own 2 feet, seeing the challenges of this world and taking them on with courage and strength. We're often told by society that doing nothing is a waste of time, is the worst thing we could ever do. But I think it makes everything worth doing. These brains really are like supercomputers. And it is always rendering from photons of light the world around us. And it is filling in the blanks in a way to save energy. So we don't have to constantly look around, but it will give us the experience of having a complete field of view, even though it is creating our peripheral vision out of its own memory and imagination. And just like a book with a narrator or a movie with a narrator, that voice in our head, that ego that is based on what our friends, family, and society have said and told us and shaped our view, that is like the theme song. That is the soundtrack to our lives that colors everything we see. If we'd just lost someone dear to us, our world may look dark. If we have just fallen in love, the colors are gonna seem a lot brighter. But in both cases, if we can simply be in this room where we are, we can start to pierce through that veil and step into reality and see that it is all designed for us. This is our habitat, this earth. It is here to nourish us perfectly. Nothing is by accident. There's nothing we can face that we cannot bear. It is only when we think something is unbearable that we start to lose hope, enter that dark mental space which colors our world. And most of the time we are unconscious creators of our reality. We just go with the flow of our ego. And it's usually in a dark, fearful, angry, negative, critical place. But we can consciously choose to go in another direction whenever we want. And the way we do that is by communing and connecting with this miraculous, magical universe. Simply by giving it our attention and our focus. Anything that is real, our breath, our body, our surroundings, are doorways to this universe. And everything of the mind, the ego, and the thoughts are the fictions that we create. And simply knowing that frees us from that unconscious, negative worldview that we create, so that we can really discover that we live in a very peaceful, very beautiful universe, that only human beings have chosen to create these fictional divisions and fictional conflicts. But it is through developing this unshakable presence and connection to the deeper reality that other people can discover that peace and realize that oneness for themselves. Recently, like so many of us, I've experienced some tragedies in my life, some loss of some very close people. And that is what inspired me to write this book, Grief and Spiritual Healing, because the teachings I lay out here are what helped me survive and get through such a horrible time. And I hope that these teachings can help you and your loved ones as well. It's available on Amazon in print and Kindle. And all the profits will go to a nonprofit foundation to help other people grieving.